Hey.
We're live this time. We're both here in the same room for once.
We're always live.
Uh-huh.
To ourselves.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go Vsauce with it. You ever watch Vsauce where it's like, Vsauce here, technically, you're always experiencing life 0.83 milliseconds after it happens. Some shit like that. That's an actual video.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Vsauce is god tier.
Yeah. But to get to Rwby, fuck. We had what I would consider one of the first good fights in a while. Yeah. Probably since the Nucalavi fight.
Oh yeah.
Which was, and even that fight was just good. I mean, I think because David and I have discussed choreography a lot. Choreography, speed of the fights, camera angles. Mostly
Why is everything like a 50% slowed down fucking YouTube video?
That's my metaphor. But yeah, so I mean, I had a realization in this episode, and I was discussing it with David a bit earlier. I don't think it's not necessarily that the choreography is different, because the fight with Yang and the bandits was good. I mean, there were good things there, and I liked it. But I noticed that, one, it feels slow. Like, my metaphor is that if you were to go to the YouTube settings and play an old Rwby episode at 50% speed. And then the other thing is the random cuts. When she goes to stomp on the dude's foot, they didn't need a fucking huge zoom in on that, like a cartoon, Looney Tunes style. Wow!
Yeah, we didn't need that shit.
That just kind of takes you out of the action. I think action and reaction should happen in the same shot.
That's why the old school martial arts movies are still some of the best movies out there, because they tend to keep action and reaction all in the same frame. Yeah.
So like there were parts of that were really good. I loved her charging at him and then boosting over him. That was good shit. That was some Hitman Reborn shit.
That was some glorious Hitman Reborn callbacks there. But
yeah, callback. I wonder if the teams any of the teams seen Hitman Reborn.
I'm sure, because a lot of them are otakus like us.
Yeah. I remember watching the behind the scenes of Rwby and apparently, according to them, Monty just came up to them one day really fucking tired from a sleepless night, and he was like, Miles, let's make an anime. And he's just like, sure, buddy, go back to sleep. And he's like, no, let's make an anime.
Let's make an anime. And they made technically an American anime.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I guess with the whole Yank, because that was really exciting to see. I liked that fight, and it was good. But it's like half chub worthy, when you're this close to orgasming, you're jerking it, you're trying, you're this close, but you just can't get off. That's what that fight was for me. I was like, dang it! You're just blue balls in me. I need to go back and watch more Volume 2. Yeah.
Okay, man.
Accurate metaphor is accurate.
It really is. But I can't get past that line. Oh, man.
So, moving on to the training stuff. First minor complaint I have is that I don't like how they're starting to slowly sexualize Rwby, and it weirds me out. The upskirt, there was a very close up. I'm trying to remember what her outfit was in pre-time skip. Didn't she have some stuff on down there?
Yeah, it looked like it, but I mean,
the only reason I mention this at all is that it's different if it's within the character to do that. So Yang is someone who doesn't give a shit. She'll have her boobs right out. She's cool with that. Which is why I thought it was out of character for her to be embarrassed by Neon in Volume 3, but that's besides the point. She's cool with that. So I don't care about her outfit being like that.
I will never let the top heavy line go.
Why would that bother her? Yang's response should have been, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, while she's grabbing
I
him.
appreciate it.
That would have been her character, not
what? No. But yeah, that was weird. You'd think too, Barbara seems like the type of person who would be like, that seems out of character for Yang. But but
she just rolled with it.
I mean, paycheck.
Yep.
I wonder how much. Yeah, I'm getting off topic. Either way.
But off topic's what makes us great.
Oh, that's an off-topic reference for y'all. But what was I saying? Fuck. Oh yeah, no. So Yang, it makes sense for, right? I don't think Ruby's never struck me as that type of character. She seems reserved, someone who doesn't...
Keep her pure, goddammit.
I like her pure. That's kind of what's cute about her. Come on. And I'm not saying if they want her to change and be more, like, open about that, and she's, like, cool with it, then I guess, sure. But,
give
like,
her some development.
You haven't really... Yeah, to me, it just seems like an obvious, like, hey, guys, there's a time skip, so we can... Not only should we show her cleavage, but make sure that she's got some upskirt potentials. Just like, no, like, I just kind of, the women, Monty mostly designed women outfits pretty normal. Like, they weren't fucking overly sexualized. Exactly. Yang was the exception because that's her character.
Exactly.
There are women out there that don't give a fuck and they're like, hey, look at my boobs. That's their fucking choice. Ruby wasn't like one of those women to me, so I was like,
Well, number one, she was underage at the beginning.
She still is.
No.
She was 15 and now she would be 17. No, wait, no, it wasn't 2 years. It was only like a couple months. She's probably only like 16 still.
Yeah.
The only ones that might be, like, literally, Yang, Weiss, Blake might, and that's a big might, be 18. They'd be, like, just around maybe getting there. With how much time has passed, we don't know. But Ruby's definitely still underage.
Yeah. It's
a little weird.
It's a little weird. I don't know if they're trying to appeal to the Japanese audience here.
It seems, they probably are. I mean, like...
Because, like us and loving their anime, they fucking adore Rwby. And it's got such a huge market over there, so maybe they're trying to appeal to that audience.
But here's my lesson to people that make these kind of shows. If a show becomes loved, don't then after the fact try to appeal to those fans that love it, because you're already doing what they love. You don't need to change what you're doing.
Exactly.
That would be like if Rick and Morty started appealing to the trash fans. Like, if Rick and Morty became nothing but memes and nothing, you know what I mean? It would go down the tank because it wouldn't be what it was. Number one lesson I've learned is fans don't know what they want. They don't. People, one of my favorite, couple examples. In One Piece right now, you have an arc that for a bit was a bit slow. It was, there wasn't a lot of action happening. And people are constantly like, oh, come on, when are we going to get to the action? And then once the action started coming, because now there's action, they're literally being chased by a Yonko. That happens. People are like, this is boring. We want Wano, which is the next arc. I guarantee you, once we're at Wano, they're gonna be like, this is boring. Give me Shanks. Give me Blackbeard. No, people are never happy.
No.
And people don't understand that stories need to de-escalate and escalate.
Exactly.
If you don't have slow parts, the exciting parts won't be exciting. Dragon Ball Z is a show that never de-escalates. Therefore, it was all boring.
To most people that don't have the attention span of Thurman.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're... It became pointless. You got to de-escalate and escalate. Perfect example being Chimera Ant arc to Election arc in Hunter x Hunter. But
and that is a perfect freaking example. And if you turn your mind off, you can enjoy Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. But once you've watched something that's better than one of the, as much as it did for the freaking anime industry, it's still one of the most brain dead anime out there.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it. I know everyone that's disliked is already disliked, and you probably left already. But it's not, I respect it for what it's done, but it's, it doesn't know how to de-escalate. Yeah. You have to de-escalate. I'm trying to remember what I originally brought that up. What was my point? The
sexualization of Rwby with the upskirt.
Oh, right. So, anyway, if in fact they are trying to appeal to the Japanese audience, they're fucking up there, because the reason the Japanese audience probably liked it is because it was different.
Exactly.
Because it wasn't appealing to them. It was different from what they saw. Rwby had that unique flair to it. If Rwby starts to try to appeal to things, it loses what kind of set it apart.
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is another, like, American anime, but it never tried to appeal to anyone. It did its own thing.
Exactly. And it, as well, the original Avatar,
Korra was meh.
Korra tried too hard to appeal to the LGBT community, as nice as it is for them.
I never watched it. Was it not natural? Was it like weird?
It got a little forced.
Because if it's natural, I don't give a fuck.
It felt forced. I mean, it's beautiful the way it ended, but at first they sort of forced the Korrasami ship.
Okay.
And immediate hate from me in the comments, I know.
Well, my thing is...
you have to make that feel natural.
The fucking Sonic the Hedgehog Cartoon Network show which is surprisingly fucking meta as shit. There's a thing where it's like, Amy, if you reference the fact that what was the wording again? It was like,
if you reference the fact that you're a woman, that you should be treated differently, then basically you're defeating the purpose of equality.
I think it was.
I might be a meathead, but I can still be a feminist.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Can you pause the recording for like 1 second?
Yeah. Back. There we go.
Okay, so this is it. It's worded. This words it better than I could ever word it.
Can the young woman break the glass ceiling and prove once and for all that a female can be just as good an athlete as a male?
Amy, anytime someone calls attention to the breaking of gender rules, it ultimately undermines the concept of gender equality by implying that this is an exception and not the status quo. What? Just because I'm a meathead doesn't mean I'm not a feminist.
Yeah. That words it perfectly. I mean, it's just you can't if you're gonna write an LGBT thing, if you're gonna write any of that, it's got to be written as is exactly the same as you'd write a straight relationship. If you call attention to it, exactly. You are actually just making it more inequality because now it's something special and not the status quo.
Bingo.
So yeah,
that will forever be in your search history now.
Oh, Knuckles feminism, absolutely. But what was I gonna say? Again, I keep forgetting how this connects to Rwby.
We were talking about differentiating.
Oh, right. Yes, you're right. If they're appealing to shit or not. But yeah, so I think we get the idea with that. My other thing, too, is I'm still semi-concerned if they're going towards this Oscar Rwby ship that I'm
okay.
I'm scared. I'm nervous about that. Like
It seems like they might actually be going for that, so White Rose, I apologize.
I mean, Oscar, it makes sense for Oscar to have the hots for her because he's a fucking 14-year-old boy and she's like a 16-year-old girl, so I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
But well, actually, I don't know if I sent you this. There was a meme where it was like Oscar I don't know. It was some like pickup line that Oscar says this is a pickup line to Rwby. I don't remember. And then it says Ospen internal screaming. No.
Okay.
I you know what would be cool though? I wouldn't mind this is if they go down the road of like Oscar's like trying to get with her, and then Ospen has to literally be like, no, you can't. In fact, you can't have a love life at all. And then he could break down like, well, I can't. You've ruined my life. I can't have a love life. It's like, nope. Because, I mean, I don't think we ever saw Ospen with anyone. I mean, people shipped him with Glinda, but there was never any romantic implications.
I think Glinda and Ironwood were a thing at one point.
Speaking of Glinda, we're never going to see her again because her voice actress went AWOL. For a good reason, by the way. I'm mostly on her side from what I've heard. Yeah.
She's eternally written off unless they give her like a new voice actress.
I wonder what they'll do with that with her.
That would be an interesting thing. Oh, so my character's still alive, but I don't get a fucking paycheck for exposing your bullshit.
Fucking who knows, man. I know she left Rooster Teeth, so they could either just not have her do anything, which would be a shame because she interested me.
She was a great fucking character.
So yeah,
struggling to rebuild the city.
Yeah, that was the last thing we saw of her, just kind of like there with her fucking power.
She's eternally repairing.
That reminds me of, I feel like, ooh, something fell.
Oh, it's a power bank.
Oh, okay. It reminds me of, I feel like I've seen a show like that where like someone just keeps like, I just gotta keep fixing this no matter how many times it breaks. But yeah. We learned some stuff about semblances and shit.
Mm-hmm.
See, now, here's a concept that fascinates me, right? Jean, they said that a lot of times with semblances, they're activated under, like, a stressful moment. But Jean didn't activate his semblance when Pyrrha died. Arguably the most stressful moment. So what the fuck is it gonna take? A lot of people are thinking when he meets up with Cinder again, and his just pure, vengeful, hateful rage.
I'd go for that.
First of all, what I want to see, I would jizz my pants if, like, if he meets up with Cinder and like kind of goes AWOL like crazy and unlocks a power and like somehow does some crazy shit to Cinder. I wouldn't say kill because that'd be a little too easy, but like maybe I don't know. But then again,
as satisfying as it would be for him to kill her, I want him to maim her.
I don't know. It's tough to say because at the same time, if he killed her, then they could be, but like it'd be one of those things where like he had like this crazy OP semblance maybe, and then like he kills her, and then they're terrified of him because he straight up just killed a bitch. I don't know. I just because I feel like they're really building this rage that Jean has. I mean, we see him like clenching his fists and mentioning Cinder constantly.
Cinder.
Because I feel like it could go down a road, like a bad road, with like him being obsessed and kind of like taken over by this rage that he has.
Yeah, I would love to see
Spider-Man 3 style, except without the cringy dancing.
That's a great scene without the music.
Yeah.
Cue cutaway.
Oh my gosh, no, fuck. Don't make me edit this shit. What else? Okay, so the Weiss Yang hug.
Nah.
Good hug.
It was a good hug.
And as I screamed to David when we were watching it, now you don't know what to ship, do ya? You fucking crazy lunatics. Like, people have this thing. If two characters are ever in the same room together, even if they're not, if two characters look at each other weird, we ship them. That's welcome to the Rwby fandom, the thirstiest fandom of all time. There was a Reddit post recently on the Rwby Reddit where it was like, literally, it was like, why is this fandom so goddamn thirsty? Good God, they're thirsty.
No, like, there's shipping of Neon and fucking Coco in the Rwby Republic.
I love Neon. Neon better do something. If Neon's a throwaway character, I'm going to be triggered.
Neon was so fucking creative. That entire team was so fucking unique.
Yeah, dude. I better go see Neon again. But,
Flint Call!
which was a reference to the Minecraft Let's Plays.
I know. I found that meme again.
But yeah, the hug was great. It was... See, my thing is, they can be friends.
They can be friends without fucking...
Not every hug, every nice little moment has to mean a ship. Like, I personally don't ship Yang Blake. David does. I see it as, like, the argument I always get from my buddy Andrew, and maybe you, I don't know, is, oh, but Yang shared her history with her, and it was a touching moment. And I'm like, I've done that shit with my friends. Friends can do that. Now, the only reason I don't, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I'm looking at context clues. I think Yang is either straight or bi. She's not gay, because she is ogled over men in the very, like, one of the first episodes. So I don't know if she might be bi. Yeah. I don't think Dad would approve of all the boys, though. I know I do. So I mean, I don't know if that means, like, I'm trying to think back to any time she's, like, ogled over a girl, and I can't think of one. I'm using context clues. Now, with Rwby, I could see her being gay as fuck. In fact, I'm pretty sure she is.
Exactly.
Which is why I get weirded out by the fucking Oscar stuff that seems to be being implied here. I'm hoping that it's a one-sided thing where it's just Oscar kind of like, well, you're pretty, and Ruby's just kind of being her ditzy self. Which is another thing too. Does Rwby seem more ditzy than usual?
It's a little bit amplified here.
I feel like she used to be like a smart girl, and she kind of feels a little too ditzy now. Like fancy ditzy. I don't know.
I don't know where they're going with that shit.
I've just kind of been disappointed with what they've done with Ruby's character as of late.
It's
like I miss the girl that would fucking nerd out over weapons. I miss the girl that would fucking, you know, like I don't want to have bee's knees. I just want to be a regular girl with regular knees. You know, just like her little quirky shit. What has she said interesting? Like, those quirky lines. What has she said in the past 2 volumes other than generic bullshit line? I just want to help people. Let's help each other get stronger and be friends. I'm not going to stand by while people I love get hurt. All that shit she's said.
Generic shonen tropes.
I cannot, like, it was the fight with Crow and Tyrion when she came to Crow's, when she specifically disobeyed Crow, who said, stay out of this shit, and came up and said, I can't just sit back while people fucking get hurt. You know, and I'm just like, literally, Crow would have been fine if you didn't, like, Crow was doing fine.
I want to see more of Crow's badassery.
She fucked that fight up. She's the one that distracted him, man. And we haven't gotten, like, a character arc with that yet. We never got, like, a moment where Rwby was, like, feeling guilty about fucking up Crow's fight there. Like Gon with Kite. Gon always felt like he killed Kite because he was there, you know.
Exactly.
We never had a moment with Rwby being like, oh wow, maybe I shouldn't have, you know, directly disobeyed Crow. Like, there's so many things they could have done with that, but they never did.
It's disappointing.
And the reason this seems so off the cuff is because as I'm saying this, I'm thinking of more shit that makes me mad. So I'm like, and this, and this, and this.
And this turned into Res Rant number 5,000 about Rwby.
The show used to make me really happy, and now it just makes me kind of meh. And I miss being happy about the show. There was a point in my life where I was so fucking into Rwby, man. That was my shit. And it was around the time when I was in ITT, when I was printing the Rwby prints, and I was, I had a Rwby background. For the longest time, Rwby was my background on my phone, remember?
Yeah.
For a very long time. She was my favorite character.
The entire time I knew you had the iPhone 5C, Rwby was the background. Yep. And then Gon was the other background.
Yep, and now it's fucking the TARDIS and my girlfriend, obviously, because that happened. So she's got to take up one spot, but equal placing with the TARDIS. What was I saying?
Mine is Sombra possessing fucking Diva.
Hey, but
and what is even my lock screen anymore? Oh yeah, Evil Morty. I forgot to change that.
The one other thing I want to mention too, I think, before we end this off, is I liked, because the things I did like. One, I noticed, especially, I don't know if...
Weiss not being a damsel in distress.
Weiss not being a damsel in distress was fucking amazing, and I love that.
Subtlety's not going to work anymore.
That was good, which proves that she was going to be able to escape anyway. She was just waiting.
Yeah. Well, she was so flat-chested, she could have squeezed through the fucking bars.
Oh, can someone draw Yang trying to squeeze through those same bars, but her boobs getting stuck?
Let's commission Lieutenant to do that.
Oh, gosh. Well, Lieutenant doesn't do lewds.
But that's not lewd.
I suppose if there's an emphasis on the boobs, I think she would consider it lewd. Although,
okay, let's get Molly to do it then. Wait 10 months.
Molly has no... Oh, no, don't fucking... Molly, if by some ungodly chance you watch this, we love you and we understand you're busy. It's just Chris always mentions the fucking thing that he's commissioned.
Still waiting on my commission. Chat moment number 9,000 where he's like, I just need Molly to finish my commission.
And then I can finally have enough confidence to write my book and not kill myself. If only she could just finish that commission, I'd have a purpose in life again.
We love you, Molly.
I know. That was more of a Chris diss than anything. It was more of just like, but at the same time, it's like, hey, if you finish that, he might reinvigorate his life, so he'll get on that.
Oh yeah.
But wait, let's finish this stuff. So one other thing I wanted to mention that was good, and then I really liked Yang's character was cool because I expected her to, I got a nitpick
for a second. Where the fuck did Ty mention how Raven's semblance worked?
She was at the home for a long time.
But I don't remember.
It was just off screen.
But that's something fucking plot heavy as fuck.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. So your complaint is that you would have wanted that to be on screen?
Yes, that should have been on fucking screen. The reason she was able to get to you is because her semblance works like this. Oh!
I wonder... Yeah. If by some chance we're both forgetting this and we're idiots and it was mentioned, please correct us in the
link
comments.
that episode in the comments.
We might just be morons, but I don't think that was mentioned. But no, I liked Yang's character because it kind of broke the mold with I expected her to like wanna basically Gon Jing freaks this situation where she would like find her parent and like hang out, talk to her, ask her a bunch of questions. She, even fucking Raven even said, "All right, ask whatever questions you want. We'll chill. We'll do that." Yang's like, "No, fuck you." She's got to the point that's a good character. I like
that.
Because she gets there, she can tell even from the way Raven speaks that she doesn't give a shit about Yang. She doesn't give a shit about Crow. She doesn't give a shit about Yang. She doesn't give a shit about her little sister Rwby. She doesn't care.
No.
Clearly. So I think Yang got there, saw how much of a bitch Raven was, and she's like, "You're not even worth my goddamn time. I'm just give me a portal. That's all I'm here for. Fuck you. I don't care about you." And I appreciate that's cool. I like that a lot.
The epitome of the deadbeat parent. Mm-hmm. And for once, it's not the father.
No, for real. Like the thing I continue to find myself thinking was Raven and Jing would get along splendidly.
Oh yeah,
they could talk about how they abandoned their children.
Let's fuck.
And let's fuck, make another child, and both abandon it. They won't have any of the parents. Your mother abandoned you this way, and your father abandoned you this way. Which one do you want to find?
Somebody draw that.
Yeah. Just draw like a webcomic, 3 panels. Jing and maybe 3 or 4 panels. Jing and Raven fucking, the child being born, them bailing, and then the child like looking both ways, trying to decide which child and parent they want to find.
I will pay for that shit.
That's the new manga. It's fucking like who should I find?
Shonen Jump, pick it up. 50 volumes. If you gave Black Clover a fucking chance, get that.
25 volumes to finding the dad, 25 volumes to finding the mom.
Oh, fuck.
Glorious. Anything else to mention in this episode?
Well, we know she put her faith in Ozpin. I want to know where that goes.
Oh, I'm amazed that I didn't think of this. That was like one of the big plot shows that we can talk about a lot of shit in these videos. No, yeah, that's one of the hugest things is her not trusting Ozpin, saying you don't know the kind of man Ozpin truly is.
I want to fucking
that
know
is
this.
Interesting, and I'm curious, and I'm hoping. I mean, we remember to the line that he said. Ozpin said that he made more mistakes than any man, woman, or child in Remnant. This could be one of the mistakes he made. Ozpin. I don't think Ozpin's going to be like secretly a bad guy, but what I do think is that Ozpin probably has done some fucked up shit in his life.
Oh yeah,
especially in a life that has lasted thousands of years, presumably.
Yeah.
However many years he said it was. I think he said thousands.
Yeah.
So he's probably fucked over some people in his life.
And probably caused a lot of unnecessary casualties.
No matter how good you think you are, Light Yagami, you're bound to fucking do some bad shit. Like no matter, no one will ever be 100% good. You just can't. It's impossible.
You can gauge a person's character by how they say they will use the Death Note.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I would use it.
One of my favorite metaphors, and it was like something that came to me after watching I was watching, it was the Rooster Teeth's D&D thing, and they had this like fucking orb that was like really powerful, but it could like corrupt your mind if you use it wrong or whatever. And they were trying to figure out who to give the orb to, and everyone was fighting over it except for Gus's character, and they were like, give it to him, and it was like, you always have to give the power to the one who doesn't want it.
Yes.
That's and because guess what? George Washington, I'm not saying he was a perfect person, and slaves, back then it was normal, whatever, but what he was a pretty good first president. I don't know if you've learned about this. He was a good first president because he didn't want the power. He didn't want it, so he didn't like hold on to it. He didn't, he just.
The irony is he could have been president for the rest of his fucking life.
Yeah, people wanted him to. Yeah, but he didn't want it, and he set up the 2 terms thing. He set up a lot of stuff. Another thing he did was when he created his party. He didn't just fill it with nothing but, like Trump, let's look at Trump, or pretty much any politician these days. They'll fill it with all of their, like, I'm going to fill it with all Republicans or all Democrats. George Washington filled it with an even mix because he was showing this is a country where we work together,
Exactly.
So, and it was kind of like we're starting a new country. This is like my goodwill towards you. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But the reason tying this back to Rwby, since it's a Rwby Talk, is Ozpin, I think... it's hard to tell. I'd like to see more into his character on like how he feels about this power he has and if he likes it. Because he said it's a curse, so
I'm
want to see
assuming
his
he
past,
doesn't like it,
which would be good. But maybe there was a time in his life when before he hated the power and he maybe went a little corrupt with it. That could be a thing. And there's a lot of things.
Oh yeah. I could see that being a thing.
Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if just to quickly iron out this theory. My big theory still is that Ozpin is obviously a descendant of the many bodies down from the original wizard, is my opinion, and we saw in that world of Remnant with the original wizard that, the wizard granted the power to these 4 maidens. But then he got cursed. So I assume that
one of the maidens went evil.
Well, yes, I think he granted the power, one of the maidens went evil, presumably Salem, and then the gods that gave him that power were like, we never said you could give people power, and guess what? You're gonna be living for you're gonna live out. You're gonna be reborn and never die through countless bodies until this problem's taken care of.
Yep.
So that's what I think it's gonna be.
And that would be quite the hell.
Mm-hmm. It's very Legend of Zelda. If you remember Skyward Sword, it was kind of like Ganon, like, as Link was beating Demise, he was like, I'm gonna be reborn, you're gonna be reborn, and Zelda will be reborn. Constantly, over and over again, in an endless battle, you know?
Yep. And that's why I respect the hell out of the Zelda series. That's why I respect the hell out of, you know, a lot of shit. Like, this little trope of being reborn through countless vessels has been done for years. And every time it's done well, but it's never done to the point where it actually makes a fuck ton of sense. Like, I want Rwby to kind of break that mold of, like, yeah, we got countless vessels. It seems like it's trying to buck it, but at the same time, it's like, now we're going super generic with everything.
The problem I have is the maidens and the gods and it just really
the MacGuffin.
It came out of nowhere, really. Because, like, was there any foreshadowing to some sort of maidens or the two brother gods at all in the first 2 volumes? Anywhere. I can't think of any. I mean, the only foreshadowing... We had foreshadowing to Salem, but at that point it was so early. Like, who do they even know what they wanted Salem to be? I don't know.
I'm assuming Monty had this planned out to an extent.
Maybe? I just wonder... Because, I mean... We assume that maybe Monty just wasn't good at plot, because it comes down to how much I want to believe from Rooster Teeth. You know, how much I want to believe what they said, because they've said in panels multiple times that nothing has changed from the plot. This was always the original intent. And to be fair, I don't think Monty had a lot to do with the plot in general. Like I said, the plot would typically be written by Miles and Carrie, and then they would write insert Monty action scene here.
Yeah, but at the same point,
I'm sure he had some say in it. Obviously,
at the same point, it was originally his series. Mm-hmm. How much input did he actually have besides, you know, the action? How much do we really know?
I would assume the final decision would always come down to him, and they could probably try to like convince him of shit. But like, I guess I'm starting to come under the opinion that maybe just Rooster Teeth isn't that good at plot, which is fine, and that wasn't why I was originally watching it. If you can give me good fights, I can turn my brain off to plot. That's why people like Dragon Ball Z so much, which, by the way, I don't even think Dragon Ball Z has good fights, but people consider huge explosions and planets blowing up good fights. I don't. Some people do.
I must say, Super's at least gotten better with more choreography.
I've heard. But yeah, like, I'm trying to think of a good example of a show that has good fights but shitty story. You think of one?
I mean, Bleach has some good fights.
Yeah. Naruto. And Naruto.
Oh, God, no.
End series Naruto had great fights that kept me reading. You know.
Watching Sasuke's smug ass die over and over and over again over the period of seconds was beautiful.
Dude, Kage Summit, man. Kage Summit will always be the most beautiful thing to me. Because it's just the perfect thing of, like, this guy who's become so smug that he thinks he can go into the summit of the most powerful ninja and just fuck him up. And you know, you think, oh, wow, Kishimoto's going to write this shitty and Sasuke's actually going to somehow beat them. Nope! He just goes in and gets his ass wrecked, and it's glorious, and I love it. That's what would happen. It's amazing. Just goes in and gets destroyed. I love it. Anyway, any final Rwby comments? I think we're good.
Any theories on what Raven's story's going to be besides that?
Interesting.
Besides how many times, by her definition, Ozpin fucked up?
That's tough. It could be a lot of things. I mean, I assume it's going to be... Maybe we'll get some flashback with her and Ozpin.
That'd be nice.
Maybe an Ozpin flashback. Because I feel like they should ask Ozpin in general, like, more about him. There's a lot more I want to know about Ozpin.
Exactly.
Specifically... I guess is it conferred? I guess because they never said it, but I guess it's inferred that he actually died in the Cinder fight, right? But then my other problem is if Ozpin died by Cinder, that's not even Salem. That's Cinder. That's a bit what?
The fact that Pyrrha, a rookie, lasted longer than fucking Ozpin will always bug me if that's the
here's my
case.
problem, and I could, to word Shane Newell's letter, one of my favorite things that he said in that was, like, he's going through all the shit that he hates about what they've changed, and he was like, and Cinder, who is now so OP, it's ridiculous. That was in Shane's letter. So I can assume that the original plan was to not make her that OP. So I don't know, I mean, because, like, obviously having the Maiden's power, it would make sense to be that powerful. So... I guess it makes sense.
It makes sense in a sense, but at the same point, how the fuck did Pyrrha do so good? Is it just because of her semblance that inconvenience that she was around all that metallic shit that she could control. Is that what they're going for here?
I mean, it almost seemed like she was toying with Pyrrha at bits, but it's just I don't understand why they couldn't just.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck you.
Well, I mean that's fine. I just either show more of the Osmond fight or cut away like you did and just have it be a couple minutes before she comes up. Have a couple minutes of just explosions down there, and you can tell that I don't know. I think I just want to hear more about Osmond and what exactly happened on that night. Like I want fucking Jean.
Did
he
succumb to his wounds?
Jean should have been like, what the fuck happened? We came up the elevator and then you were down already. Like there was literally a line I remember where they were like, no way, Professor, but that's Professor Osmond. Like they said that shit, I remember. So it's not like it was like actually it took longer and it just seemed shorter. Like we saw them like turn around after directly after getting out of the elevator. They turned around, saw the elevator coming up again, or her flying up, or whatever the fuck she was doing, and then they were like, no way, Professor Osmond. So I mean, he didn't. I don't know. Unless they're implying maybe the elevator ride takes like 3 minutes. I don't fucking know. Maybe.
Is it one of those DeVos ones where you have to take this elevator to here?
Oh my gosh! But no, now I'm imagining this as like a scene where fucking Pyrrha and Jean are in a really slow moving elevator with like calming elevator music, like dun, 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 dun. And in the background it's just boom boom. Like just Osmond's tortured screams in the background as he's like dying.
That's my dick.
You took it a place it didn't need to go. It was funny and then you fucked it up. But just like really though, calming elevator music, and then just the huge ass explosions. Oh,
I can picture Cinder being that fucked up though. Like she's got this serious vibe of
I don't. Jessica Negri incarnate.
I don't fucking care. You're a piece of shit.
Jessica Negri would fucking bow and arrow through someone's dick. I could see it. Maybe, I don't know. Jessica Negri, comment below if you're watching.
I should fucking tag that shit.
Jessica Negri, you're an attractive lady. And you seem pleasant, but like, don't arrow people's dicks.
Okay, let's end off on that. Anything else, or is that good?
I guess another thing that was implied too was that fucking semblances between the wizards. I guess they're gonna change since they're in a different body, because they're talking about it's like one of those things. Unless it's like a fucking All for One style thing from My Hero Academia where they like meld.
Oh god.
Like are they maybe? Well, I don't know, because I mean I would be sad if it was like. Because I want to know what Osmond's semblance was with the fucking, like, the weird, like, dodging thing he did.
Yeah, that was fucking badass.
So, I can't tell if that was just pure speed or, like, an effect. Because the way they animated it, it looked like an effect of something.
Yeah. Are we going to have some Bankai Shikai bullshit with this, semblance? Like, your semblance can evolve.
Which makes sense. I mean, that's fair. That makes sense. You can train with anything. My thing more is, they're talking about Oscar getting his. Does that mean Osmond can't, like, when they finally like meld, their souls meld, can Osmond not use his semblance that he had, or does he have to now use whatever the fuck Oscar's ends up being?
That's gonna be weird.
And then another question: does anyone have any theories on what Jean's semblance is gonna be? There is a lot of shit in this episode. I didn't realize that we were able to talk about. But I feel like Jean's semblance has been something that's also been foreshadowed a long time.
I think he's gonna be a tank, basically.
Well, just like damage absorption, like
yeah,
like the Nomus from fucking My Hero Academia, the first Nomu he fought.
But think about it; it makes sense. He's got the giant shield. He's a warrior.
He's the most boring person in Rwby.
He's like me, incarnate.
He's like in a show that revolves around having ridiculous weapons with a normal ass weapon.
Yeah,
and then he had it. Oh my gosh! And then in Volume 4 with his fucking weapon. His weapon actually changes shape, and all it does is fucking what even fucking changed? Like, I think during our live reaction, we had to be like, wait, what changed? I'm squinting and trying to figure out what changed.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, what?
It was literally an aesthetic change. It didn't really look like it did much.
It's like it expanded like all the 3 inches with Pyrrha's metal.
And that's cute and everything, but like, bro,
she'll always be with me.
At least add like some sort of gun in there somewhere. Everything has to also be a gun. That's the point. Where's your gun, Jean?
Dude, we had fucking straight up submachine guns and revolvers in this episode.
Yeah. Give me
the one revolver had like a little tiny pocket knife attached to it,
to it. Well, I think they were banned. They don't have like the funds to make their own fancy weapons. I'm gonna assume because Raven sits in her tent hoarding all the good shit. Clearly,
like it's like if
Raven's got her fancy ass fucking like slider. Oh no, don't get.
It's like if I took my Glock and duct taped a fucking pocket knife to it.
I mean that's like fucking old school war, like the bayonet, right? That's like a homemade bayonet. I think.
Like, I'm out of ammo. What am I going to do? I'm going to get up close and I'm going to shank your ass.
Well, it's like a final resort thing. I mean, like typically what they would do, from my understanding, like old war tactics were the first, like, it'd be lines, right? Lines of people. The first row would shoot. Then they would duck and charge with their knives while the second row shot. And then,
It's still used today, sadly.
Mm-hmm. Well,
oh, I'm out of ammo. Wait, I've got frag grenades. What? Oh, right.
I've got stun grenades to throw at Native Americans protesting water poisoning. Oh, did I put that out loud? Hey everyone, Google the North Dakota Access Pipeline protests if you're curious about some bullshit in our country. But yeah, ending this off on Rwby. I think what I want in the future of this whole show is for them to work on. If I was to get, like, I'm a teacher and I'm giving a credit report and I'm like, what do you got to work on? Rwby's character development. Because all she's said in the last 2 volumes is generic lines.
Shonen.
Like, where's her personality? It's literally just become, like, I'm trying to think of something she's said. The last thing I remember her doing that was kind of, like, quirky was her laughing hysterically at Jean's fucking, like,
the pumpkin
t-shirt.
Pete's.
That was cute, but after that, I can't think of anything.
And then the uber animated cutaway of, like, her face and, like...
Yeah, that's good shit. Give me that. But like, this is a problem that I feel a lot of shonen have, where they start out like let's look at Bleach. You had the slice of life aspect in the beginning when everyone had so much personality and they were so full of life. When you put them in the fucking generic shonen situation of there's the villain, there's the enemies to fight, they just become lifeless husks of themselves, where they just kind of exist to be characters to fight, you know.
And then now Chad's a boxer.
And then even like Nora isn't funny to me anymore. Like Nora, like the Crazy Thursday line was okay. That was one of her least cringy ones lately. That
you was struck by lightning. I lived. Crazy Thursday.
That was fine. That was pretty funny. But like some certain things she said before have been like, a little much. Crow is still consistently funny, and I'm a fan of him.
Well, we got Vic to thank for that.
Yeah, and then I think just heavy more character development on Rwby, because she's the main character, and for a long time she was my favorite, and she's really slipping from there. And my 2 other favorites died in Volume 3, so I don't have much to go on. Volume 3 was a fun volume for me, because my top 3 favorite characters were Rwby, Penny, and Pyrrha.
Oh, it sucked to be you.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so work on Rwby's character, please. Fucking choreography is good. Just speed it up, please, and stop with the camera shifts. And
we don't need to see her mercilessly bash somebody's foot in.
But yeah,
we knew that was coming. We saw where her foot was aiming.
Yeah, it's like it feels like it's I almost worry that, like, inevitably, like every big company, some fucking, like, I feel like every small company that gets big, like Rooster Teeth gets big, right? I feel like some fucking parent organization bought out Rooster Teeth and
Full
said,
screen.
was it?
Full screen.
Okay. Now I'd be curious when that happened. So like you look that up while I'm ranting here. So let's say Full Screen buys them, right? My theory is that they buy them and then they come to the fucking Rooster Teeth animation department and they say, we're gonna need you to slow down those fights because the normies can't handle it, you know. Like, and again, that I use normies ironically there, but like, a lot of things are ruined. It's true that a lot of things are ruined when normies get a hold of them. Look at
that
the
happened,
Undertale fandom.
that happened November 10th, 2014.
Oh, wow! Really? Hold on. Let me just check. November. Hold on. Wait. Oh, wow. Hold up. Wait. Okay. Keep that date on real quick. Let me check something. Volume 4. When was Volume 4? When did that happen? You keep that date up. Okay. Rwby Volume 4 was 2016, and then Volume 3 was Volume 3. Because Volume 3 still had good fights, but they weren't like as they were starting to slip. Here, you say something while I'm looking at this.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure out the entire when this actually started going downhill. You know, we've almost been on this for an hour.
I'm okay with it. Okay, so the beginning of Rwby Volume 3 was October 24th, 2015. So, and you know, Volume 2 ended before that. So that does make sense. Now, what I think happens here is, like, you think about, if Monty was still there, I feel like he would be the kind of person that would be stubborn, that would say, no, you're not messing with my project. But without him there, I feel like they were a lot more persuaded. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So my assumption, I have no idea, I have no way to confirm this, but like a lot of times it seems like these companies, they start off with this cool thing, and it just feels like they came in and said, hey, it's too fast paced, you know, people aren't gonna get it. It's the same thing like can we talk about, there's this indie film, David, called Primer. Have you heard of it?
No, I have not.
Primer is an indie film, which I would love to show you bits of. That is, it's basically an indie film that won 1 billion awards, and it's basically known as the most accurate portrayal of time travel in any film. And it's the most complex, one of the most complex things I've ever seen. And the creator of that film said, I refused to dumb it down for people. I wasn't going to dumb it down. Beginning Rwby felt like a show that didn't dumb down the action scenes. I had to watch some of those scenes 3 times to fully comprehend what was happening, because they were fast. I liked that, though. I liked doing that. Exactly. I would rather have to be challenged and think about something and rewatch it. I would rather have, if I'm reading something or watching something, I enjoy saying, hold on, let me watch this again.
The title of Off Topic 101. Selling out for 15 years.
Funny. So if I'm reading something, this is a good rant though. I like this. I'm going on a good track here. If I'm reading something or watching something, I enjoy being confused, because that means I can go back and think harder about it. You know what I mean? If everything's, how much more boring is it if you're reading something where everything is spelled out for you?
Black Clover.
Remember the oh my gosh, right? Remember the point I made to Thurman about how Hunter x Hunter with Togashi, a lot of things that most mangaka would make huge panels that are like, look at this, he just puts in like a background panel.
Exactly.
He doesn't look. It's the same thing with this whole foot stomp thing. Yeah. It's like, whoa, look at, she's stomping the foot. No, that would be in old Rwby, that would be like a detail that would just be there, and you might notice it, you might not. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And why is that guy limping? Let me go back and rewatch that fight.
Yeah. And that adds rewatchability too.
And which, ironically, increases their profit.
Yeah. So it just feels like they're dumbing it down, and this happens to a lot of things that get popular. They get dumbed down because they want to keep, you know, they don't want people to be like, oh, it's too confusing. There's a fucking, I'm calling you out, by the way. These are semi-smaller YouTubers, like they're like in the 14,000 subscriber range, so maybe they'll hear this. The Who Addicts. I doubt you'll ever watch this, because Doctor Who and Rwby, not necessarily. There's a YouTuber's named The Who Addicts. I love you to death, and I watch you a lot. But there's this one person on The Who Addicts that every time there's a Doctor Who episode that I love, one of their, luckily it's not all of them, otherwise I wouldn't watch it, because I'd get fucking annoyed, but one of their people was like, it was too confusing, and they got like fucking accents because they're British. Like, it was just too confusing. I didn't get it. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't get it? That wasn't confusing at all. I mean, it was like challenging, but it was good confusing, you know, like, and then,
right.
Like, it was too timey-wimey, like, time travel, it's like, that's Doctor Who!
Why are you on this fucking channel?
Well, she that particular person, it seems like she likes the more of like the just adventure-y type episodes or whatever. But you know, like, so I guess there are people out there that don't want to be challenged when they watch stuff. I like being challenged when I watch stuff.
And that's what I loved about Rwby, old Rwby, and what I'm hating about this as well.
Because even as late as the Roman Torchwick and Neo versus Rwby on the top of the airship, that was fast as fuck. Go back and watch that fight. It was like 13 seconds, but it was fast. Like, good God. It's just like, that fight started and was over so quickly. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I wasn't even done taking a drink yet. I was like taking a drink of water. And I was like, oh, is it? Let me go rush water. Because like it starts, and she's spinning her fucking side, and
a mid swig here, goddammit.
It's just
Scrub. What? He got fucking 8.
But like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so we should probably end this off. But I think we had good fucking conversations here.
50 minutes.
It's good. It's good. That means rants happened.
Nice.
You got anything, David? Anything?
Thanks for tuning in. We'll do this shit again next week and the week after until this volume's over, and then we'll go.
Please, Rooster Teeth, give me like you got almost there. You got me to half chub with that fight, man. I need full chub.
You're bringing it back. All right. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that shit. Until next time, peace.